Globalization. Globalization means integrating the national economy with the world economy through removal of barriers on international trade and capital movements. We're calling it as a globalization. Pros and cons of globalization. Globalization have several benefits. These are free flow of capital and increase in the total capital employed, free flow of technology, increase in industrialization, spread of production facilities throughout the globe, balanced development of world economics, increase in production and consumption, commodities at low price with high quality, increase in jobs and income, higher standard of living, balanced human development. The first point, loss of domestic industries. Second, exploit human resources. Third one, decline in income. Fourth, unemployment. Fifth one, transfer of natural resources. Sixth, leads to commercial and political colonialism. And seventh one, widening gap between rich and poor. And eighth one, dominance of foreign institutions. These are the negative effect of globalization. Let's move to the picture. Because of globalization, its accountability and terrorism, shrinking world, technology, the internet, free trade, culture, capitalism, monopoly power and environment. Integration of economic, equality and inequality, communication, recognition, trade versus aid, outsourcing, brands, exploitation, growth, the last one, poverty. Just move to the other heading of World Trade Organization. First, prior to WTO, the General Agreement on Trade and Tariff, that is GATT, was established as Global Trade Organization in 1948 with 23 countries. GATT was set up to administer all multilateral trade agreements by providing equal opportunities to all countries in the international markets. In this organization, the function of WTO are as follows. First point, establishing rules for international trade. Next, ensuring the rules are followed. Last, promoting removal of restrictions on trade barrier. Next, WTO is against barriers on trade in the form of tariff and import duties. As this impede the flow of capital, investments and technology, this mechanism prevent the functioning of free trade. These are the organizations which come under WTO. Let's move on to argument in favor of economic reforms. There are 6 arguments in the favor of economic reforms. The first one, increase in rate of economic growth, inflow of foreign investment, rise in foreign exchange reserve. Fourth, rise in exports. Fifth, control on inflation. Sixth, increase in role of private sector. The first one, increase in the rate of economic growth. The growth in GDP was 5.6% during 1980 to 1991. During 2018 to 19, growth in GDP is estimated at 7.2% as compared to growth rate of 6.7% in 2017 to 18. During this reform period, the growth of agriculture has declined and industrial sector reported fluctuation, whereas growth of service sector has gone up. The indicators, the growth is mainly driven by the growth in the service sector. Now let's move on to inflow of foreign investment. The opening up of the economy has led to the rapid increase in foreign direct investment, FDI. The foreign direct investments increased from about $100 million to in 1990 to 1991 to $73.5 billion into 2014 to 15. With launch of Make in India initiative in September 2014 and foreign direct investment policy was further liberalized. Due to this reason, FDI inflow in India increased by 48%. Next, third point, rise in foreign exchange reserves. There has been an increase in the foreign exchange reserves from about $6 billion in 1990 to 1991 to about $321 billion in 2014 to 15. India is one of the largest foreign exchange reserves holders in the world. Fourth, rise in exports. During the reform period, India experienced considerable increase in the export of auto parts, engineering goods, IT software and textiles. Fifth, control on inflation. Increase in the production, tax reform and other reform helped in controlling the inflation. The annual rate of inflation reduced from the peak level of 17% in 1991 to around 5.48% in 2015 to 16. The last, increase in the role of private sector, increase in the production, tax reforms and other reforms helped in controlling the inflation. The annual rate of inflation reduced from the peak level of 17% in 1991. Increase in role of private sector, abolition of licensing system and removal of restriction on entry of the private sector in the areas earlier reserved for the public sector have enlarged the area of operation of the private sector. These are the arguments in the favor of economic reforms. Let's move on to criticism of economic reforms. The first one, growing unemployment. Second, neglect of agriculture. Third, low level of industrial growth. Fourth one, ineffective disinvestment policy. Fifth, ineffective tax policy. Sixth, spread of consumerism. Seventh, unbalanced growth. Now we'll see growing unemployment. Through the GDP growth rate has increased in the reform period, but such growth failed to generate sufficient employment opportunity in the country. So, these are the reasons, criticism which comes under of economic reforms. That's what I just told you in the growing unemployment. Now let's move on to neglect of agriculture. The new economic policy has neglected the agriculture sector as compared to industry, trade and service sector. Neglection in the form of reduction of public investment, removal of subsidy, liberalization and reduction in import duties, shift towards cash crops. Third point, low level of industrial growth. Industrial growth recorded slowdown due to the following reason. What are the reason? Cheaper imported goods, lack of infrastructure facility, non-tariff barriers by developed country. The fourth point, ineffective disinvestment policy. The government has always fixed a target for disinvestment of public sector enterprises. For instance, in 2014 to 15, the target was rupees 56 crores, whereas the achievement was about just 34,500 crores. Fifth point, ineffective tax policy. The tax reduction in the reform period was done to generate larger revenue and curb tax evasion, but it did not result in increase in tax revenue for the government. Sixth, spread of consumerism. The tax policy has been encouraged and dangerous trend of consumerism by discouraging the production of luxurious and items of superior consumption. The last, unbalanced growth. Growth has been concentrated only in some select areas in the service sector such as telecommunication, information technology, finance, entertainment, travel and hospitality service, real estate and trade, etc. Such as agriculture and industry which provide livelihood to millions of people in the country. So at the last we have completed our third chapter of LPG. Thank you students.